Hi, and thank you for streaming Stop Stigma, Start Healing, a podcast brought to you by Equitas Health and our mental health recovery services.
Hello, my name is Miles, and I am your host of Stop Stigma, Start Healing, the raw and uncensored podcast where we talk openly and unapologetically about our lives as trans, lesbian, bi, gay, queer, and HIV-positive humans. Our goal is to stop the stigma that prevents us from getting the healthcare we deserve. Each episode will feature real people. I have 3 real people here with me today in our community in conversation and storytelling. And here is my disclaimer. The experiences shared here are valuable and important. They are based on the lives of those in this space and some of you who are listening. Prepare to be educated, shocked, seen, triggered, and informed. No matter your response, keep the conversation going. Start healing. So I am excited. It's episode 10, and I've got 3 people here that I've known for years to talk, I think, about an important part of our community that I often, it seems really silly to say, but it's true, is often the most neglected part of our community. I often reorder the letters and put the capital T first. In fact, I said trans first in the opening because I think this is a part of our community that is most in danger, most attacked by politicians, religious leaders, families, churches, blah, 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 and some of the coolest, greatest people I know. So all of those things. So today's topic is my so-called trans life. And yes, I did steal that from 80s television. So it would have been a much better series. And I would like to first go around and have you introduce yourself and tell the audience what you would like them to know about you from just an identification standpoint. Whoever wants to go first. You want to go first? I'm going to just look at you. Yeah.
Well, I am Michaela Denise. I am non-binary. I am a drag queen. I was able to have the opportunity to step into a acting role with Catco Theater this year. Went to nationals, placed 8th at my first national pageant for All-American Goddess at Large. And I also work as a caseworker in LGBTQIA healthcare.
Yeah, also a movie star. I saw you in a movie once.
Oh, yes. I've done a little movie, a little short film, runways, just a little superstar.
My name is Melanie, she, her, hers. I'm a trans woman. What am I? I'm the treatment coordinator for a mental health practice. I've been doing that for about 4 years. I love it. I have 4 cats and 800 ex-boyfriends.
Right.
Where do I begin after that? My name's Jay. I usually go by just Jay. My pronouns are he, his, him. I pretty much just like being in the community, getting to know people, volunteering. I do work at one of the biggest libraries, one of the best libraries. So I meet a lot of people daily. I'm getting ready to go on my last milestone of my surgical journey. So I'm excited about that. And that's it in a nutshell.
And you're a singer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You plugged the upcoming concert.
Well,
yes,
you missed your
please.
chance.
I try to
We're plugging it right now. So.
come to the Gay Men's Chorus.
Wow.
So if we could then go back around the room and for the folks who are listening, share about your coming out experience. Really what was important to you about that, when it happened, where it happened, how it happened. We want to know the stuff. You look like you're about ready to go. So why don't we start with you?
I feel like trans people sometimes come out more than once because you have to come out in like different ways. Like you come out to your family, you like slowly realize like, maybe I don't want to wear khakis anymore. Maybe that's not my thing. I came out really, really young to my family. I would say I started realizing that I was not a boy around like 4 years old. That I think was really scary for two boomer parents in the 90s. They did not handle that well. And then I didn't actually start to transition until I was almost a teenager, which was just nuts. And then, I mean, like I said, you come out multiple times. Because then for a while I lived in stealth, and I would like slowly come out to people as I met them. And so it's a process.
So the folks listening in Iowa, what is stealth?
Stealth is something that, well, it used to be something that trans people were required to do to get certain things like surgeries, letters. You had to prove that you could live in stealth and blend into society. But it is also something that trans people do like in the workplace to survive and not draw attention to themselves. And so that is what stealth means when you live in stealth. You're not actively sharing your identity with everyone around you all the time.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Well, I agree with that. You're constantly, evolving. So you will come out more than once. I came out twice. I'm a late bloomer, so I came out as the L when I was 27. But spent many years just feeling like something was not right, and I wasn't aware of the T until later, when I was dating someone who was wanting to transitions, and so I was just learning about that. I had never heard it, so and then I came out again. I was 44. And mentally came out to myself as the T. So I've been medically transitioning since 2015. So you do evolve, you do change things as you go. So yeah, I'm eager to be in that stealth mood, maybe not be so visible, but I feel like that is drastically needed for today.
And clearly you are being really visible right now. So we appreciate that. Yeah.
Alrighty, I came out August 3rd, 1986 at 725 at OSU Hospital. I think right when my mom pushed me out, I knew who I was going to be and where life was going to go. I always lived my life as far as I lived my life privately as a little kid, and then I also lived my life publicly for the people. So from a little kid all the way up, so I've explored my gender since I was a child. When my mom and my sisters wasn't home, I played in their clothes. Walked around their heels, every prom dress, homecoming dress that was in there, I've tried it on and wore it. If it was a wig, I wore it. So, but I knew growing up that I was going to grow up into be, I guess, multifaceted. So as a little boy, I didn't play rough because I wanted to have soft feminine features, and I love Tina Turner, so I wanted to have beautiful legs. I came out to my family when I was around 21. Me and my friends had a Sweet 16 style birthday party, and since we couldn't afford entertainers like they did on those shows, me and my friend decided to entertain and perform and be exotic dancers. And so I was like, my mom and my sisters now are going to come to the gay club, and I'm be exotic dancing. And I was like, I probably should say something. And so I came out to my family. I thought I was just going to do it at the party, but I was like, I don't want everybody to walk out. So I decided to tell my mom and my family beforehand. I told my sisters before my mom because she stayed in Lyman at the point in time. So, but I had to tell her because she had friends who was going around saying, oh, we saw Caleb at Kroger's in a skirt and all that. And I was like, that was before I started dressing up. So I'm like, what skirt did I have on? So y'all was just misconstruing stuff. So I was like, well, let me be the bearer of my story. Came out as a drag queen. Came out with my diagnosis, and then my identity today, everyone's just accepted it and known well, you are who you are. Everyone says that I'm trans, and I explain that I'm very trans adjacent because I am hyper feminine, very feminine presenting when I present and do things and go out and about. but I consider myself to be non-binary because the trans journey is something different, and I don't want to take away from what trans women experiences are versus me still having my gay boy privileges, because I still can gather and do both. But everything that I do is always to push forward for the trans community and what I've been doing as far as my works. So I always want to try to push my trans sisters and brothers forward, but I also sometimes know that a lot of POC trans women and men aren't at that place of comfort to share their stories freely like I do. So I try to do it to be an example and to showcase, like, you can make a difference in changing somebody's life, or you like giving some healing or just giving insight. So for so long, a lot of people was like, you're just so bold. How can you go out and just be so free? You go wear hair at church, go to Kroger's, you got on nails and hair, or probably wearing heels, and I don't care. I got one life to live and I'm going to live it. So I've always just lived, I guess, freely as me, and that's what I want to present to everybody else in the world, to accept who you are, whatever the journey and road may be. I've been lesbian, gay, bi, trans, everything under the sun. So I'm just one of those people in the community who want to be educated in the full of the whole alphabet. And if it partakes in my personal being, like, it's part of something I'm supposed to experience, so I don't take away from it or I try to shine from it. So, like, a lot of people still be like, no, I just think you're just trans. I'm like, well, if that's how you see it, understood, but I know I don't want breast ever. So I was like, I don't think I'm. And so, like, a few of my trans, that's like, oh yeah, girl, you don't want no boobs, you're not no woman. So, yeah.
You mentioned church. Episode 8 of this series, we talked about religion. I'm just curious what that experience has been like for you. Because you said you will.
Oh yeah, I've gone to church as full Michaela Denise. I've been able to preach on the pulpit as Michaela Denise. I've been able to perform in church. I've been a mime, all those type of things. But even before drag and all that, I was already a mime in church. And so I was at a church before, and one of my friends, we all was young youth mimes, and they knew that she was a lesbian. So they kicked her out of ministry work. And because of that, I took a stance to where, like, I don't want to be here and do that, because I'm like, what is she doing wrong? Like, she's a young person coming to church and enjoying what she's doing, but because you feel like her lifestyle, she's not able to be a part of the ministry work. But my mom brought me up in church my whole life, so I'm one of them people, you can try to throw the Bible at me, but I can throw it back, because God created each individual, and even trans people, gay people, lesbians, all of that, he's created us, and it's not everybody is strong enough to accept and walk in the shoes and deal with how society can be. But for those who are strong enough and have the willpower and wanted to just have that freedom to accept who they are and live, you should be able to do that. And the Bible don't really condemn and say too much besides how people misconstrue. So when you understand and know it, then it's like, there's nothing that you can really say or do that's going to take away, because before I was born and before my mom and father, you know, my life was already pre-written. So I'm only accepting what has already been signals and signs to me.
Yeah. So. Great. Thanks for that. So let's talk about your initial involvement in the community. How were you received? What were your experiences like? And then maybe move into, like, how that's changed or evolved over time. And I'll let any of you go in any order you want to go.
I feel like my first exposure to other trans people and gay people and queer people in general was, I started transitioning in 7th grade, which was really rough. So I had absolutely no friends, and my mother was desperate for me to find anybody my age that was, you know, in the rainbow. And so we found Kaleidoscope in 2002. And it was like the first time that I had met anyone like me, that I was in a space that was not othering. And that is where I, like, really found my identity and found a lot of answers. So that's, I mean, and Kaleidoscope is still providing that to people today. So, but how has it changed? I don't really leave my house. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Columbus has always been a really queer city. Always.
Yeah.
from as long as I can remember. And I feel like it's just getting gayer, which I love.
I love it.
So,
Yeah.
positive things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about you? We're going to circle back around.
All right.
I think I always give credit to the drag community. I think if it weren't for drag for me, I wouldn't be sitting here being who I am. And it's not about the gowns, it wasn't about the makeup, but it was just that energy that these people, these human beings could really just get up there and be whoever they wanted, however they wanted, and they were accepting of other people and allowed me to just kind of flourish and really want to discover me. And I've never done drag. I've been asked to be a drag king, and I'm like, no, that's not what it's about for me. But I always am grateful for the drag community for opening that door for me, because like I said, I wouldn't be sitting here. As far as today, I absolutely agree. I think Columbus flourishes with just all the gayness, queerness, transness, and but I still want it to go forward as far as the policies and politics of it all. I think that we're starting to really have a voice, and we're really starting to turn the tide even more so. So I hope that continues, and I think with people like us and beyond, I think I have hope. I have hope and for the possibilities,
Are you from? You two are both from Columbus. Are you from Columbus?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah, right. I said you two. Yeah, you two. Because I'm thinking about it's so great how Columbus is, right? But I
Right.
think of all of the small town
Well,
queer people in
I
Ohio.
went to school in Johnstown, Ohio.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm Licking County. So
You
it wasn't so lovely there.
It wasn't so lovely.
And it's still
You didn't
they
talk
can't-
about things.
They
You-
can't even put rainbow-colored lights on the courthouse
Right.
there because it's
Yeah.
still really bad.
Yeah, I've lived in Hilliard and Grove City and Johnstown, Ohio, and it's definitely
Yeah.
different attitudes.
Yeah.
Put it mildly.
And you were gonna say something?
Obsessed.
Those shoes are amazing, but
Yeah.
you hit the community pretty early. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, like I say, from birth. But I say, I know my first day at kindergarten, Guillaume on the playground, somebody's like, "Oh, you're gay," and at first I'm like, "Well, am I? Like, who knows that? What is that? Like, So I've always like, well, the Webster Dictionary said gay was happy, so I'm like, yeah, I'm a happy person, Like, I didn't know about the sexuality stuff, but I knew like I was attracted to men, so it was like. My best friend at the time, we got really close. We would lay together, hold each other, kiss. Like, we didn't do nothing highly sexual because we didn't know, but like it was always an attraction. But so it was like that with the three male friends that I had growing up that was considered like boyfriends. But I always knew that it was wrong as far as how society set it up and said. So I always had a girlfriend too. Still to this day, I can get a girlfriend, so But like, I just always explored and just wanted to figure out on this understanding, get an understanding. So being able to see TV or see magazines and stuff like that, I was always into fashion, always like women's fashion. It's like there's so many options. Men have a select collection. So I was just like, women get, you can get so much. And so I always was drawn into that. And then like just seeing my mom like get dolled up and beautiful and stuff, like seeing my sisters and them, like it's always an event. Like when a woman gets dressed and going to something special. It was kind of like an event when I got ready for prom, because I had got me a custom suit made with a zoot style long jacket, matrix style, so I could kind of have a dress. But and I like had picked out everything for my dates for her to wear, so got into my stylish type of moments. But seeing Tu Wong Fu was something that just caused me to be like, oh, what is it? That's me. Like, I gotta be there. Like, I want to do it. So just having that as a young kid, growing up and seeing that and being able to be around it. But like, my mom had gay friends. My sister had gay friends. My godmom is gay. So I've always been around gay folks. There was gay guys in the neighborhood, but you would see how people would get picked on from the flamboyance. Like the early 90s, it was always about the blouse and the hairstyles and that type of stuff. And it was just like, oh, okay. But I would say just growing and getting into seeing how people was picked on and teased is one thing that always irritated and frustrated me. So I just wanted to like live in the truth to show people like there's nothing wrong with being yourself or being gay. Like, why do y'all make it such a problem? In high school, there was a few boys who I did want to fight because it was like I had stopped trying to, I guess, enjoy my gayness or explore it after 7th grade. So after then, it was just like, if you told me that you liked me and this and that, or you was gay, I was kind of, whoa, hold on, we got to back up, because I didn't want it to be attached to me. So it was after I graduated high school and started hanging out with my friendship group. One of them was a lesbian. They wanted to go to the after hours, and I saw people from high school, and I said, oh no, girl, I cannot go in there, girl. I'm gonna stay in the car all night. And then one time I had walked home from the after hours because I just didn't want to. But I got to the point like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna do me. Like, if you ain't here, obviously you like the same thing I like. But it had grew into being my gay self, being around gay folks. I had got into a dance group in 2005, 2006. We went to Detroit. Camera phones, of course, some recorded. YouTube started being a thing or whatever, and it was posted. And at the point in time, my brother-in-law found a video, shared it with my family. So then it was like, okay, I can't be living under the radar, I guess. And then I got into drag in 2008. After I got my diagnosis in 2006, I always thought, oh, I'm going to transition and I'm going to be healed. Then I was like, it's in your bloodstream. It's not about transitioning. You're not going to be healed from it. So it's like everything had grew and allowed me the opportunities to be where I am today and do the things that I do. Drag and accepting my gayness or accepting my identity has got me to be in the work that I'm in. It's allowed me to be in corporate America. It's allowed me to do things. I wanted to be like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton of the gay community. So meeting Lester De La Virgin in 2008, they showed me about Stonewall, told me about issues. It's more to gay life than just going to the club, shaking your butt, and trying to be cute. And so
if you use methamphetamines and are looking for harm reduction or sobriety options, Gravitas might be for you. Gravitas is a welcoming and affirming treatment program for gay men, men who have sex with men, and folks in the trans community who use meth. We offer counseling and LGBTQ plus centered care for you on your recovery journey. To learn more and schedule your first visit, please call us at 614-340-6700. That is 614-340-6700.
First Pride, I think, actually going to Pride and being a part, or it was 2007. So being able to see, and then like the Columbus Midwest is the biggest Pride. So it was like, oh wow. And so I was sitting there, hot, boots stuck in the mud, standing against the wall. So I was like, I'm going to be on a float. So after that, I was on a float continuously for years and stuff. So everything has just grown to allow me to be a voice, be a beacon, or be a face, be in the medical field, work to try to make sure and like fight the fight, try to sit at tables and try to help make decisions. And like you said, like the policies that was able to go to the first National Trans March and represent and do things there and help like trying to organize and get Columbus folks to go to DC. So I just tried to stay true to what it was my mission as far as trying to be a beacon and get into the work and doing things. But also my diagnosis, it was like I always wanted to be in the work, but I also had the mindset, because my mind just always thinks and go, it would be hard to do the work if you don't have the experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And my first test was a positive test, so it became my experience. So it's got me to here.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We are glad you're here.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So there's some political stuff going on right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's like pretty ugly, ugly. And you know, we don't need to spend the next half hour talking about that, because we all know how ugly and gross it is. But talk to me about how that impacts you and your health on a day-to-day basis. Like knowing that sort of stuff is out there, that sort of pressure, the conversations,
Well, when I'm at home alone, I mean, I think, when am I next? You know, when's it going to happen to me? You know, that I'm just going to lose everything. You know, my freedom, my ability to access health care. You know, it's just like a vicious cycle. So, I mean, it does wear on your mental health. I mean,
I think I have some days where, I wake up and I think about the policies that are being pushed through and the things that people are screaming from, in front of crowds, trying to get reelected, trying to get elected. And there are days where I just I don't want to leave my bed. But I try to push it out of my mind, because at the end of the day, all I can do is show up, vote, and that's what I can do. And so somewhere in my mind, I just think I have to focus on something else, or I'm not going to be able to enjoy my everyday life.
Distraction is good.
Yes.
A lot of it for me, I say, is that when you step back and sometimes step out of, you can realize the strategy and strategicness of a lot of this stuff. Trans people have always been around. You're not going to be able to stop that. People did it under the radar. People did it black market. It's going to happen. People who want to be themselves are going to make it happen regardless. So it's been a greater blessing that there has been strides and change in the healthcare field to where there is respectable insurance. But it's still a fight, because you got to still fight, because you have, they agreed that you can do trans care under certain insurances, but then you have the providers behind, well, not the providers, but the insurance companies and all the different policies and coding and this and that they would try to make it to where, you just get wore out and tired and not focus on it and try to fight for it. But if it's your right and it's your will, you got to stand on it and you got to do what you have to do. My thing is it's easy to be okay, no, I don't want to be a part of, but at the same point in time, it takes the faces, it takes the stories, it takes the people sharing and showcasing and getting the younger folks and the other people to understand this fight is not a new thing. Right. This has been continuously happening. I think being able to be in the work and being around it, I've been around so many elders who are we're tired. We need some of y'all young folks to get your asses out here and do what y'all got to do, because we're tired. And so I will always give kudos, because Lester showed me so much, brought me around so much. They made me a local, national, international star by taking me everywhere, but showing me the policies, the issues, the reasons, what stuff was happening everywhere. They always say San Francisco is so great and amazing. If you go down there, the trans care and stuff like that, you will see something totally different than how it is in the Midwest. And it's in other places it's like that too, but it's the Midwest is still a fight and struggle. We're so conservative here and people want to act but that's why when you sit and think about it, when the Republican people chose to shut down Backpage and all that and stuff, because they got tired of y'all out here creeping, but then when you do something wrong and foul, then this person also can use that against you and your election could go awry. So then you want to sue and try to hurt and kill or do other things and stuff like that. So it's a lot of strategy and strategicness, I think, that goes into what's going on. But policy-wise, I think they understand and know you're having more happy people. You're having more people enjoying going to go get to mental health support to make sure and have that backing. And now that trans care and trans lives are something that do matter, that's always mattered, people are trying to find a way to debunk and try to, you're something wrong, this is wrong, you're wrong. Nothing is wrong. You're wrong. Because you're okay to live your life. I've had this conversation with elder gay men who don't understand. I don't understand trans and I don't understand non-binary. I understand, a lot of trans women were gay men at first. And you gave them their 10s. Or if they go out there and do drag, you give them their 10s. But when they accept who they are and want to fully transition, then you don't understand. A lot of trans men were lesbians first, but then you have lesbians who get upset when a friend be I want to transition. I want to get top surgery. Oh, you're killing off. What am I killing off? I'm making my body align with my mental, and as my friend or my family, you should be able to understand and support that. And if you don't, your love was never valid, your love was never real, and your love was never true. Sure. And so that's just kind of how I look at it when I deal with friends and family, when they just feel you're changing. Of course, I'm evolving. I'm evolving into me. We got a birthday, a death day, and a dash. And in my dash, I'm going to enjoy whatever I can that makes me happy. So when I get to my ending call, I can be you know what? I don't regret anything I've done. I'm proud of it. I've accepted myself, loved myself, encouraged myself, and lived for myself. Because I always think, in my spiritual realm, When I lost my dad at 15, I was like, Dad, that was so young. My dad was in his 30s. I never expected it. But that was kind of a wake-up call for me because I was living in fear of accepting who I was. And I was like, if you was to die today and go and have to deal with your judgment, and the Lord be like, did you live the life that I wrote for you? My response would have been like, no, because I was living the life that everybody else wanted me to live. And so that was my wake-up call. Like, they didn't create my life.
Yeah.
Who created my life wants me to live a life a certain way, so I'm going to accept it and live it. And if other people can't accept it and they don't understand it, that's not my fault. That's not my problem. But I'm here to shake it up, do my purpose, and live out my destiny. And my destiny is to be who I am. And I want everybody else to have that grace to be able to do that and have that peace in it and not feel no type of way about it. So we got to keep shaking up Washington, D.C. and shaking up our Franklin County and local counties and all the different areas. That's just what we have to do until they just understand, like, because a lot of people fail to realize and they try to run it under the table. You have family members that's in the same walking journey.
Chemistry is a welcoming and affirming program for the LGBTQ plus community and anyone looking to stop or reduce their substance use. We offer one-on-one counseling for you on your recovery journey. Join us Mondays in person or online. To learn more and schedule your first visit, please give us a call at 614-340-6700. Once again, that number is 614-340-6700. Thank you.
So I'd like to get back to healthcare specifically though, and learn a little bit about your healthcare journeys and what that's been like and what's been not great about it and what's been good about it. That's partly why we're here. You're just like a little grimace. Yeah. What's it been like?
Well, it's just, I think I've talked to people about this before, is with trans people, we are made to jump through hoops. We are made to prove who we are over and over again. We have to get letters. We have to get, therapy. We have to physically get, like electrolysis, which isn't covered under most insurances. So I just feel like there's, I know myself personally, it just seemed like there was hoops, there was boundaries, obstacles. I have conquered them all, so I'm happy about that. But I just look at, the younger folks and the elder folks who have such struggle, not only with the process, but even financially. It definitely needs to change, and it just needs to improve. So, yeah.
I have a lot to say about this.
Sure.
I did too, but I'm like, no.
That's why we're here.
Think about this. Trans people who wanted to medically transition in the early 80s, the 70s, the 60s, they could do it. There was a way to do it. You could get hormones, but it was not regulated. Nobody was testing your blood levels, your liver levels. Nobody was checking to see if you were at risk for anything.
So was it all out of pocket?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was really for wealthy people.
Because this medication was not coming from doctors.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows who Candy Darling is.
Yes.
Candy Darling actually died from a form of cancer that came from the amount of estrogen that she was taking.
Right.
Because it was nobody was looking at that stuff because no doctor would.
Right.
And even when I started to transition in the early 2000s and started medication, the hoops that you had to jump through just to get on not even blockers, estrogen, was borderline exploitative. And because they knew that it was going to be profitable because they knew that no one was going to do it. And I think also for surgery, there used to be in our city, I'm not going to name her name, but there was a psychologist where if you wanted a letter, the only place in this state that you could get it was at her house.
Right.
And you had to go to her meetings. And she was a bitch. And she was misogynistic. She was transphobic in a lot of ways in herself, and it was terrible. And she put a lot of people through a lot of terrible things. I would say that I did not have consistent trans care in my life as an adult until I was 28 years old, because you were always scrambling to find a provider
Right.
that you could afford, that was going to help you.
Who's trustworthy.
Yes, that would give you more than, because there's a lot of doctors that even when they start to prescribe to you, they're not going to give you anything that's going to help you transition. They're going to give you enough hormones and enough blockers to sustain you, but they're not actually trying to help you grow breasts that you want, or, you know, grow body hair that you want, depending on, you know, whether you're non-binary, binary. So yeah, it sucks.
I know
right
that
now.
Another interesting is, like, I started treatment with a doctor from OSU, and he was telling me that he's trying to get more doctors to pay into this, and a lot of doctors don't want the liability. That's what I was told. So it's like, you know, there's a surgeon here who is doing my surgery, who just started that in October, maybe of last year, and it's just taken that long for doctors to really want to invest in learning the procedures and to become so experienced with it. And I just feel like we are moving so slow here as you know, as such a big community that we are, of how slow the medical aspect of it is, of the training and the experience. It just amazes me.
So it sounds like it's costly. Sounds like it's inconsistent.
It's traumatic.
Yeah, and that you have to have a lot of staying power to you. I mean, you mentioned all of the hoops, and I know that they're, you know, that's a common thing that I hear, is that all of the things you have to do to get some of your basic needs met.
I could definitely understand how some people give up, because it's, you know, it's.
And I think that's what it's set up. I think that's how it's set up to, like you said, they give you a small dosage. They try to get it to the point to where it's like, well, we know that you say that this is who you are, but we're not going to like let that truly fully happen. We're just going to give you enough because maybe you'll grow out of that phase.
Right.
And that's the thing you have to realize. It's not a phase. That's somebody's whole life being. That's their humanity. And so, like, it's crazy that the United States of America, home of the free and home land of the brave, it's still one of the slowest places when it comes to being respectable. We can't even get free medical services or free healthcare. But like out of other countries, they have that. Like a lot of people used to have to go to Thailand and things like that, go out of the country to get a lot of their trans surgeries and stuff. But like it's costly, it's expensive. Then you got to go somewhere where you don't understand the language, so you got language barriers. But then when you think about it, in the United States, they still try to make everything a language barrier, or make it some type of barrier besides just doing their job. Because I feel like when you go to be a medical provider or go to be a doctor or anything, it's just like when you go to be a police officer or a lawyer, you have a swear-in of what you promise to do when it comes to your job. But you take your personal beliefs and add that into, well, I don't believe that that's not what you signed up for. And if the medical world is growing and maturing and getting to that point to where this is where we have the acceptance, we have the understanding, we've done enough surgeries or done enough administrating to where like we can do it a whole lot better now. But now you got the politicians still trying to put extremer laws on it and take away what the fight has already allowed to grow and mature into. And so like medically, I just feel like a lot of places they do make it too challenging, because my trans friends who have gotten their surgeries within the past years that I've been able to be supportive of, and like a lot of people don't understand the pre-care and the aftercare is a lot of the work. The surgery, they are work and you go through a lot, but it's is that support system of the pre-care, the aftercare, the medical team, your family, friends, or who's going to be there to also have that understanding and support. So that's why I say, for me personally, I try my hardest to make sure that people understand, like, there's no need to make it harder. How do you make it easier? How do you give that right support? If you are someone's friend and you see that they're going through a struggle of trying to get something certified or something, help do the research. Find the places where they can go where it's maybe an easy breezier step. If you know that's going to be an issue when you're going into the medical office and the clinic office, and sometimes like dealing with like pronouns and misgender and all that, be that voice and that beacon and stand up and be that for someone. Because as we see, I have a voice and I like to use it. So baby, I'm always here like, no, that was wrong. This is who they are. This is how it's supposed to be. Like, this is how you're supposed to address. But yeah, like the medical field, they know that it makes money. So if you're about money, then like at the end of the day, like stop making it such a complication and stop making people's life hard, because for those who even have the means to, it's still hard.
Sure.
And for those who don't have the means, you make it much harder.
Well, the bigger our voice is, the harder it's going to be for them to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And I think it's really meaningful that more and more allies are really speaking out, speaking up, and really just taking that position to be in front of us, to protect us, to make change. It's growing. So kudos to allies who, they may not understand every aspect of what a trans person goes through, but I've got allies that are fighting for my, medical well-being, and it's something that I don't think we're used to. So it's really uplifting and gives trans people hope. So got to keep going. We got to keep going.
Allies have to use their privilege, because like how the world is setting it up, it's like you're making trans people minorities. So any minority group that's already had to deal with a struggle, as a person of color dealing with the medical field, it's a struggle always, constantly, still, because I'm like, we were deemed project animals in the medical field. And so I think right now they feel like sometimes with trans persons, well, that's a project. It's not a project. That's somebody's humanity. Like that's somebody's life. Like be respectable and do what you're supposed to do. Like, but allies, yes, continuously use your privilege and use it to the best of its abilities and go make the differences and changes, because at the end of the day, that the allies and those who are of higher privilege are the ones who have the hierarchy in those decisions. So yeah, we can go out 5,000 fold, but you got 10,000 more privileged people, half of them against you, half of them with you. So you got to, take right and make it right. Stop celebrating wrong and like creating more wrong in the world to make it more celebrated.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
So I dragged you all out to the ends of the earth and to share your stories. And I like to make sure that I give you a few minutes more to make sure that if there was something that you really wanted to put out there to people in small towns in Ohio about who you are and your experience, that maybe someone might hear it and it might be helpful or valuable for them, and or just something else that you wanted to share. So I sort of like loaded that up. I teed it up like, and say that. So I take all that back. So, but I just want to make sure that if there's something that you wanted to say, I think someone out there probably wants to hear it. So yeah, Melanie, you got it.
You can't just say that and put people on the spot.
Oh, I can't?
No.
I think I just did.
I don't know.
You wanted to
Wear
say
your
something.
seatbelt. Brush your teeth.
Yes.
I would say be who you are no matter what. Be who you are no matter what, and just keep going. Don't stop. Don't leave this world, because it's a powerful place for you to be in, to keep going. That's where, you can make the difference. You can live and be happy. It really is your place to prove people wrong that see otherwise. So, young or old, keep going, keep kicking ass, Excuse me, I don't know if you want to edit that.
We can cuss.
Okay.
We're adults.
And just be who you are no matter what. Don't let anything or anybody keep you from that. It's pretty spiritual to be yourself and to be authentic. So that's pretty much plain and simple for me.
Thanks. That's nice.
So.
I would say everybody needs to learn to respect and honor the value of individuality. Life isn't set up for everyone to be cookie cutter or to be the same, because if so, we all would have been born the same. God wouldn't have created differences and changes in the features and everything, but when you strip the skin, we all have the same skeleton. We all have the same organs, muscles, and all of that for those. So, like, stop making it a challenge and difference. For all of those who are scared to accept their individuality, don't make other individuals your problem. Don't make them accepting who they are and living in their truths a problem for the world. Like they say, sometimes the unknown is what scares people. Being yourself is not unknown for those who accept being themselves. Sometimes stop reading a book by the cover. Take time to get educated and get to know a person because you never know what somebody's experience is and what brought them to where they are today. Fear is one of the worst enemies that we have in this world and in this society. And as a community whole, not just LGBTQIA, but as a humanity community, allow humans to be beings and allow those beings to breathe and do what their life callings and their life purpose is to do. And if you're scared of you, take a moment, step back, and get into your mental and figure out what it is that you need healing from, who you need healing from. And sometimes that healing is just from yourself, from being scared of who you are and scared of accepting certain things about yourself because society has set it up to say that it's wrong. You don't know it's wrong until you give it a try. Because that's how it was for me. I was like, I didn't know I was going to like dick until I tried it,
Yeah.
Growing up like a little Kim, she said, I used to be scared of the dick, now I throw lips at the shit. But now I'm a real, until I did it, I was like, oh, I am a real, you got to fight fear and beat it. So
I think if I wanted to say anything to anybody, it would be just don't ask anybody for permission, because you're not really living for anybody but yourself. You don't need to ask your mom. Right. You don't need to ask your friends. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Brush your teeth.
And brush your teeth.
Yes. And vote.
And vote. Yes.
And vote.
Vote.
Well, thank you three for finishing out this amazing experience for me and hopefully for folks who listened to Stop Stigma, Start Healing.
Stop the stigmas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I appreciate you sharing your stories with us. And really, if you're listening, keep the conversation going, get involved, get connected, vote, and ask questions. Don't take no.
Dental floss.
Use dental floss. And I think I'm going to end it right there.
All right.
Just getting weird. So thank you very much. And with that, we'll close.
All right.
Thank you.
Use mouthwash.
Wipe from the front to the back.
Breath mint.
The front to the back.
Listerine.
Thank you for streaming Stop Stigma, Start Healing. For additional information on our support groups, please visit us at equitashealth.com/start healing.